Okay, so I get asked a lot of questions about how I do my top coats, especially for those who are kind of starting out and trying to adjust with learning the product, or who are struggling with like getting bubbles and things like that. So I'm going to show kind of a newer technique that I am starting to really like a lot more. And I'm finding that I'm getting way less bubbling, because, you know, occasionally I still would get bubbles and I would either like spot sand, or it would just be like in an area that wasn't too obvious anyway. So, you know, I would just continue on with my coats. But, you know, I wanted to test out like something else to see if, you know, if I could get better results, because I'm always down for, you know, trying different things, you know, like with using Crystalite Grand Finale. So this is my station where I do my top coats, and this is my setup right here. It's nothing fancy. I just have one of those large like totes or whatever, and I put it upside down, and I have this like silicone mat under it. It's kind of, let me see if I can get down like that. It just kind of goes long, you know, back, and this is where I'll place my acrylics after I put a coat, because I try to keep, you know, like any lint or dust or anything off of my items. And I also have this like reptile lamp that I turn on. I'll usually turn it on and leave it on while I'm doing top coats. And then I'll turn it off like when I'm done. It just kind of helps kind of warm up my area a little bit more. I'll leave it on only like kind of more in the winter months, or at night when my, like in the cooler months, like if my house feels a lot cooler when I'm crafting at night. So that's the only time I'll kind of leave this on for a longer time. But this just kind of helps keep the area a little bit warmer. And I find, you know, that I kind of get better results that way. But right now that it's not too cold, I just will kind of turn it on, like I said, while I'm doing top coats, and then I'll turn it off. But I also mostly use it too because right here, like when I'm doing a top coat, like, so like let's say after I did a coat and I'm kind of looking at my item, making sure I don't see any bubbles or whatever, I'll kind of hold my item like this and I'll just be moving it around. But this lighting right here, plus the lighting on top in my room, it kind of helps me to spot any like tiny bubbles that I maybe wouldn't see, you know, otherwise. So, sorry, I thought I saw a piece of lint, but that's actually the tie-dye pattern. So another thing, I do have these pedestals that I got from Midnight Serenity. I absolutely love these for when I'm like glittering and doing top coats and stuff. And so I'm going to kind of just explain real quick what I do. So normally I'll start, you know, I'll start with one, do the top coat, and then I'll bring it over here off to the side and I'll set it down. I'll grab another one. So I'll kind of start lining these up. And then, like once I do kind of the last one, then I come, you know, and grab the very like first one that I did, and that gave it time to like level out, and for any other additional like bubbles that may have surfaced, I'll be able to kind of like flick them with my brush or drag them off and help get rid of the bubbles that way. But with this newer technique, excuse me, with this newer technique, I'm kind of finding I'm having way less bubbles that I notice that I'll have to drag off. Sometimes, like once I come back to like check my item, some of them have no bubbles whatsoever. So I'm starting to kind of notice that, which I'm loving. So, and let me kind of show you. So here are some that I've done, and hopefully you can kind of see because I'm not in a very good spot. But there's like No bubbling. Like, this looks really good. Let me see. Got this one. See, like, everything looks really good. Sorry, the lighting is not that great right here. And two, the yellow lighting kind of throws everything off. But yeah, so anyway, those are some that I kind of have finished. And then as many of you know who typically follow me know that I prefer using these kind of bottles. They're like a pointed tip. I got these at Hobby Lobby. They're like really cheap. I want to say they're like $3 for a set of 2 bottles, 2 or 3 bottles. I can't remember because I've had these for a while. I just reuse them over and over until, you know, like I feel like I need to buy new ones. But yeah, so anyway, I use these, but they're found in the baking section. They are cake icing writing bottles. So they're used for like when people who are writing stuff with icing, I guess. So yeah, so anyway, so they're a pointed tip. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought because I'm over here trying to clean this off. Anyway, so I like using these. Gives me a little bit more control. Plus with the new technique that I'm doing, it's a lot better because I'm able to just do some, what I'm doing is I'm just applying some drops. And I'm going to explain why I think that's actually working better. Also, just to know, I always keep a glass of water. So this stays here, and once this whole thing, I don't wash my brushes like right away. I just always make sure my glass has water so that the product never dries on my brushes. And this thing will sit here for like 2 or 3 weeks until it's like completely full of brushes. So like earlier today, all of these got like rinsed and washed off. And then so after I kind of clean off my brushes and clean out my cup, I'll wrap them up in like paper towel to let them air dry. And then once they're dry, I'll put them in this jar, but I like to keep my jar covered because I try to avoid any lint and dust as much as possible, like from getting on my items. And then too, just to double check, because sometimes, see, like some product may still kind of have stayed on there. I'll just kind of go like this with my finger, but usually that won't affect anything because it's way up there. But anytime before I'm going to do any top coats, I grab my brush and I just go like this, and I make sure there's no like dry product that needs to like flake off. Or also, like I said, I don't like dealing with like lint or dust. I try to avoid that as much as possible. So I just kind of go like this to get any little fuzzies or lint or anything that may have somehow gotten on my brush. But okay, so anyway, also, many of you wouldn't probably have something like this. So what you can do is, hold on, thought I had one out. These are pretty cheap on Amazon. You can get like the little medicine cups and just get some double-sided tape. But I would make sure if you're going to do double-sided tape, like kind of do like this with your finger to get some of the stickiness, to like reduce it some. That way, when you need to take off your acrylic, you won't have a hard time prying it off, and you won't like start spilling your top coat and stuff off of your acrylic. So you can do that just to kind of have something level to put them on and like set them off to the side if you're going to do this technique that I am going to show you. So let's get started. I may not do all of these on video. I just want to give you a quick idea. And you never want to shake your grand finale. I just kind of go like this. I just tilt my bottle a little bit and gently just roll my bottle just to move the product around some, like if it's been sitting a little while. And then, since this is my first application, what I'm doing is normally, okay, let me explain this. Sorry. Normally, what I was doing before, that you would probably, if you watch like my other videos, I would pour like a good amount of product like in the center of the acrylic, and then I would go in with my brush and I would do like this. I would set my brush in the product and let it soak up into the bristles first, and then I would start spreading it out. Now that, like that still generally works okay for me. But what I think I'm noticing, because this product, the newer Grand Finale like formula, the newest one, I notice it does build up a lot better. I would say maybe it's even a little bit more thicker. I'm not, I can't remember like from the one before, but it does build up a lot better. Okay. I've noticed, like for the glitter pens that I do and times that I've done tumblers, I rarely ever get like any bubbling or anything like that. And I just use my finger for those types of applications. But I think because those items are rotating on a turner, I think the movement is what kind of helps make bubbles pop. So since these are just sitting, and if we put too much product and it's just sitting and not really getting any movement to help, help bring up bubbles and stuff and allow them to like pop, like maybe with the movement, that may be why, some people experience like having some issues with bubbles. Also, it could be like if you're overworking the product. So overworking would just mean like if you're brushing like too much. Also, if you're like pressing on your brush too much. So that's why I like these brushes, because sorry, I'm trying to remember that my camera is more over here, the way I have my phone. So these bristles on the brush are a little bit more firm than like other brushes. So they are soft, but they're kind of more straight and a little bit more stiff the way they're made. So there's not too much, it's not super easy to be like bending them. So I like them that they stay kind of like stiff and straight when I'm needing to do my application. So with this new technique, what I'm now doing is I'm just using, this type of bottle, and I'm doing drops, like small drops. And I would say I average anywhere between 10, mostly 10 and 12, like little drops, but I space them out. Like I just go around the border of the acrylic and then I'll put like a couple in the middle. And I think because it's like smaller drops versus like one large drop, any bubbles that there might be, they surface a lot easier, probably because it's less product, right? So I'm noticing like I'll do like multiple drops, and then I'll get my brush and I'll just kind of start to go around, like around the border, kind of like I'm connecting the dots. So I'll just start to connect the drops, right? And I'll go around like this. Oh, sorry. I'll go around like this, and I'll just, gently let the dots start to connect. And so I'm noticing I'm not really having to do as much like brushing, because versus it being from the middle and then me having to drag all the way around, the product is already all the way around. So I'm just kind of connecting the dots of the, like the drops or whatever, of the product. So I'm like doing less strokes for one, and they blend in pretty quickly. And then any bubbles that I see right away, I'll just drag them off with my brush. But then once I go and set it down, that gives it a little more opportunity for any smaller bubbles that maybe you don't see right away to start to surface, and either they pop on their own, because sometimes, like I said, I'll grab one from off to the side and there will be no bubbles whatsoever. So either they'll start popping on their own, or if it's kind of like a larger one or a super tiny one, you know, that I noticed, then I'll just use my brush and I'll drag it because the coat is still wet enough for me to do that. So that's what I'm going to show you. I just wanted to kind of give like a good little explanation before and my thoughts on it, or like why I think it maybe is working better. So since this is my first application, you can either, since my brush is dry, you can either do like a few drops. So I'll just go ahead and do that. I'm going to do like, oh, I have to be over here. Okay. Oh, hopefully, wait, I think my bottle might have clogged a little bit. Let me squeeze it because I've just had it open. So I'm going to do like 4 or 5 drops in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's just going to be so I can soak up the product in my bristles and get my brush nice and wet first. And this is just going to be for this first time to get my brush ready. What I've also been doing, which I'll show you in a little bit too, is, let me set this down, is if my brush is dry, I've just been like tipping this over and just letting it drip on the very top of my brush just to start getting some product on there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to just start to kind of go around the acrylic, sort of close to the edge. Hopefully you were able to see that. And then now I'm going to just go with my brush and just go along the edge and kind of, like I said, connect those dots or those drops. I keep saying dots because it's like, to me, it's kind of like connect the dots. I'm also finding that I kind of have less spillover because I was always heavy-handed with doing my top coats. And so sometimes I would still kind of be messy and get product. And that's it. So see, like I'm going to check it. So what I do to check it is I kind of angle this way so that this lighting kind of bounces off of it too. And I just kind of go like this and I hold it. And so see, you might not be able to see it, but I can see like a really, oh, actually it already popped. See, I think because I was moving it, there was like a little tiny bubble like right here. But I use this lighting and the lighting above, so there's a little bit dripping off here, and I'll just take it off with my finger. And I'll just kind of, sorry, I'll like hold it eye level and I'll just kind of go like this, and I'll see if there's any bubbles that I notice right away that I can drag off before I set it down. And then I'll come over here and I'm going to set this one down. So see, I'm going to set it down there, and then I grabbed another one. And so now I'm going to do my next one. Now, because I'm explaining this, it's taking a lot longer, but normally this, you know, this would go a little bit faster, but since I'm trying to do this on camera. So see, I just put multiple drops all around and then a couple in the middle. And I wonder if that's a piece of glitter that got stuck on there. I think it is. It's all right. So now I'm just going to start like at one edge. Start to take my brush around. I kind of try to work around the edges first. And then, you know, go through the middle. And that's kind of it. So see, like I just make sure all the drops like kind of connect. Get them all together, and then if I notice anything right away, which I see some right here, I'm going to just use my brush to drag it off. And this kind of gives me an idea of if it's leveling out good. If I notice a spot that maybe looks like it could have used a little bit more product, then I'll just do another drop or two, and then I will spread it some. And that looks good right now. So I'm going to set this one down now. So see, that one is still leveling out. Any bubbles might surface, and then I'm going to grab the next one. Same thing, I'm just going to go around. Okay, and then I'm going to bring it over here. I'm going to start to look it over, and I don't think that's a bubble. I think that's the glitter that I put in there before. I see one right here. Sorry, I'm trying to kind of show you at the same time that I'm trying to look, but it's a little bit challenging. And I think that's good for now. Oh, I think I see one. So yeah, so for the most part, you won't really get anything. It'll be nice and smooth. And then now I'm going to get my fourth one. Now these ones that I'm doing, it maybe would need I'm pretty sure I'm doing a little bit more than 12 drops. It kind of depends on the shape too. Only because they're just now getting their second coat. But once they start to get more slick, you'll kind of notice that you should be good with like anywhere from like 10 to 12 drops. I'm just going to check this one. It looks like I need to spread it right here. And I don't see any large bubbles. Actually, I think I see one little one right here. Okay. So now that one got set down. So now I'm going to go back to the first one. So this one has had time to like level out. And if you can kind of see, you should be able to kind of tell there are I don't see any bubbles from right here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick angle like this. And that gives me, like, it lets the light kind of shine in different ways on it. So I can, you know, see if there's any like little tiny ones that I'm just not noticing. Like, I want to say right here, that looks like there might be a little tiny one, and it was. This one, I can't tell if it's yeah, I think it's the glitter itself. And that's it. So see, this one didn't really have anything. Now, sorry, my brush is in my mouth now, the tip of it. Now I just bring it down here and I set it down to dry. And then before I go on to this one, I'll replace this one and put this one down over there. So that's how I've just been kind of rotating mine out. Sorry if I keep getting out of camera. Okay, so now I'm gonna see and make sure I spread the product out good. Hold on, you might not be able to see this part. I need to hold it up a little bit more. Okay, so I don't really see any bubbles. So see, like this one, I'm not noticing any bubbles like right away. So I'll just go ahead and set it down. And then now I'm going to grab this one. And now I get to kind of like check it. And I don't see anything. Actually, I do. Sorry, I can't really show you because I'm trying to hold it eye level. Okay, this one, it looks like I could have used a little bit more product, so I'm going to do one more extra drop right here. Cover that area. And then just spread it out. Make sure I got it. Looks like I did. And I'm just making sure no little bubbles are going to immediately surface from that drop. And it looks good. So now I'm going to set it down. And so if you notice like cloudiness, like once you start grabbing them from over there, don't worry, that's typical. It's going to kind of look a little cloudy sometimes before it starts to dry like extremely clear. So that's just while your top coat is drying. Okay, let me kind of look over this one. And I see something here. And one right there. Okay, so set that one down, and now I'm going to grab this one. And I'm going to get out of camera so I can just kind of hurry with this, because since these have already been sitting a little while, I'm just holding it at eye level and angling it some just to kind of see if there's any bubbles that I need to drag off with my brush. Okay, and this one only had like one little tiny one. Another one that I thought was one, but I don't think it was. I think it's the glitter that the glitter additive that I put in my previous coat. Okay, and then this is my last one. Okay, sorry, so my dog started barking, but that's pretty much it. I'm just going to finish out these, double check them, and then I'm going to put them back, or put them under here, and then I'll turn off my light, just so that it doesn't get too hot. And that's it. Hope that helps. Let me know if you have questions.